Okay, so this is it. This is all you need to get started. Now, I have my tools from different places, but here's what you're going to do. You're going to first get a bench grinder. If you have a Harbor Freight near you, go to Harbor Freight. They have a 30-day return policy. That's key since you're just starting out. When you buy your bench grinder, don't actually buy the bench grinder, buy the bench polisher. It spreads these wheels out a couple inches further. It's a longer tool. That spread is important. I don't use those because I wanted the variable speed, and these I picked up at a big box store. They have them with the variable speed, but you don't really need that. These two wheels here, these are called paper sharpening wheels. And what they are is stacked up hard cardboard. These things are pretty hard. But this wheel has a very fine grit on it. And that's something you put on the wheel yourself. You mount your tool, you put paper down, you cover the surface with plain white glue. You sprinkle this grit on it. All the excess grit falls on the paper. You put it back in the container for reapplications. Then on this side has these little slots. I'm not sure why, but I'm sure there's a reason because all the brands do this step. And on this side, you put a polishing compound, a rouge they give you. It's a white rouge, and that polishes. So this side's abrasive, this side polishes. This is like your leather strop. So that's this tool. Now the problem is this grit is so fine, if you have a knife that has any problems at all, and it could just be it's extremely dull, you'll never get there with this tool. You'd spend so much time, and this tool also makes quite a bit of heat. So you have to go slow or you'll overheat the knife. And that's where the belt sander comes in. Now this brand of belt sander, this is a Rincon. I bought it because it was a little higher quality than the Harbor Freight. Remember, you went here for the Harbor Freight buffing, bench buffing motor. They sell one of these. It's exactly like this, except the bearings are a little cheaper, I think, because when they run, it sounds even worse than this tool sounds. It's a cheap tool. Harbor Freight's like 49 bucks. Now, one thing that's different about mine and the others is this welded up base that I fabricated, because I like to use mine in this position. I like them flat. Get it in the camera, get it flat. All my sharpening work, I hold the knives flat from my other tools so I am consistent. But don't get hung up on that. I'm not doing it that way because that's the best way. That's just the best way for what my final system is. Nothing wrong with going the other way. In fact, starting out, operating this way is going to work better for you because of learning your angle and having that apply across. So let me get a knife and we'll talk about how you're going to do this. So anyway, this part here is called the plantain. It's the hard part you push up against. You can also push up here where it's soft. This part up here is the slack part. There's times you want to use this part to get a curved edge. Axes, cleavers. But for what we're going to show you, you're going to go against the hard part. So you're going to take your knife and you're going to put it against this, and you're going to do it at 15 degrees. And you're going to come in contact and slowly pull it across. You're going to do that a couple times. Then you're going to reverse and do it the other way. Now, I'm not going to come back and do it the other way because, you know, I got a camera in the way here, but you're going to get the idea. So okay, if you notice from the Arbor, The center post of the tool is called an arbor. And if you imagine a line coming straight horizontally, that's where you're going to be touching the knife to. And you're going to be touching it at the same angle that you used on the sander. So, and this is where you have to get a little bit used to your angles. But basically, you're going to take this tool and you're going to put it right at the horizontal mark and you're going to pull back. Now, there's 1,000 ways to come up with guides. You can take a piece of wood and mount it right here onto the table, have it end at that height, and then cut it off before the end of the wheel. Just cut it off so that it's not in your way, because you're going to want to work it both ways. But it'll show you where that edge is. And then the angle, you need to figure that out. I mean, one way of doing it would be, let me see if the camera's going to catch this. If you put a mark on the bench here, across here somewhere, so that when you're holding this at a certain angle and you look down your knife, you're looking at a certain spot on the table. Put a line on that table, and that'll help you with this angle. And then the horizontal piece of wood will help you with that angle. That's a way of making basically a jig, a visual jig, in order to get your angle. Very light pressure. This wheel can make heat. You don't want to be burnishing down or you can turn things blue. So the burr now is much finer. And now I'm going to come over to this wheel. And I'm going to repeat the process. This is a polishing compound. When you buy these wheels, they give you a white compound. It's a different grit slightly. It'll work the same. This just happens to be what I've got. I just went a little steeper. I wasn't clearing this burr in this section. I might have had a bad angle on one of these tools. This kind of thing happens. Let me get a Band-Aid. Okay, when I'm filming this stuff, I'm actually standing sideways, holding my arms out to the side, trying to look at an angle and do things. The camera is where I would normally be, and this tool would be facing me, but I can't get a camera angle where I can do that. So, all that awkwardness causes this kind of thing. If you got a real problem with this, you need to do something else. But anyway, so my last pass on this, I did it just a slightly steeper because there was a little nick or burr. And I think that probably when I was moving something around, I clicked it, but it's gone now. And this back corner showed me I was pretty sharp, but let me get some paper and test it out. People Magazine. I have access to People Magazine, and I use that for my testing. You want to be consistent at the kind of paper you use. Something about the People Magazine, I like it best. I used to use the back of my receipt books, my extra copies. I love that paper. It really gave a good audio report of how the knife was, but I changed receipts. The new paper doesn't work, and I find that this stuff works really good. A buddy of mine that does a lot of knives, I highly respect what he says. He likes the U-line catalogs, the big catalog house that has these thick catalogs for industrial stuff. I tried one, and I like it too. It's actually a little bit of a thinner paper. It doesn't have as much coating on it. But the problem is it's so thin that if you're outside, he works inside, I work outside. If you're outside and there's the slightest breeze, it's flipping around in a breeze like a Kleenex. And I just can't keep, I can't, it's always moving around. So anyway, so we sharpened this knife using this system. If I did it without the filming part of it, it would have taken me a minute. It would have been fast. And I don't know if you can hear this. Okay, so you're going to go to Harbor Freight and you're going to buy their buffing bench buffer. You're going to order from one of the suppliers online for paper sharpening wheels. Amazon, everybody will sell them. They're about 40, 50 bucks a pair. You're going to go to Harbor Freight again, you're going to buy one of these. It's not going to have the metal bracket on the back for laying it over. But don't worry about it. As you can see, the knowledge you gain from holding the right angle here applies to holding the right angle here, using the axle. It's a good system to keep it vertical. Now a tip. There's a plastic cover that covers this. The problem with the plastic cover that covers it is that it covers it so when you want to change your wheels, your belts out, it's in the way and you got to undo it. So you got to get rid of those covers. But if you had your cover on, you'd be able to take your knife, set it to the right angle, go online and print out some angles on paper and cut a piece of paper out that's a wedge, stick it on there somehow, hold your knife to it. And when you look down your knife, there's a point of reference where you could draw a line on the shield, the cover that covers this. And that would give you get over the top till you line up on it, and that gives you your angle. It's a great way to do that. And here, we talked about it already. You buy this setup, you do it, you realize, what the hell was I thinking? I hate knife sharpening. I don't know why I thought that was good. Hey, you can take it back. The only thing you can't take back are the paper wheels. You realize, hey, this is working out great. I want a better belt sander. I want to get the real guy now that I know I'm going to do this, and spend 400 bucks on a belt sander or even more, and take this back and get a better one. Those are all options. You'll find that the Harbor Freight polisher motor will work fine for you. You won't have to return that if you're going to continue on and get better stuff. I see a lot of knife guys with them. It's a great tool for the money. Okay, now so far we've talked about equipment and knives for starting your knife sharpening business. This tool also can do scissors and gardening tools. I'm going to deal with those in a future episode. Sorry this video came out so long the way it is, but there was a lot of information to get you.